Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Tatler Talks. I'm your host today, Stephanie Zubiri, editor of Tatler Homes. I'm so excited because today we have launched the July issue of Tatler Philippines, and there are some incredible personalities in this month's issue. We have my brother, who I find incredible. I'm biased, but he is. So Juan Miguel Zubiri. You've got Joy Mendoza. We have Angeline Tam. We have Hidlin Diaz, an Olympic weightlifter. Some very exciting people. An interview with Kevin Kwan. A lot of these people are sharing all about their personal best, and some of them get really heart to heart with us about their own personal struggles and how they got to where they are. So please grab a copy. If you haven't yet, you really must. It's a meaty issue with a lot of exciting things. And most importantly, we also get a sneak peek and get up close and personal with our cover girl, Bianca Elizalde. She is this amazing woman, an inspiration to all of us who started as a 90s it girl and then suddenly transformed her life into really all about being wholesome, whole, and what it really means to live a well life, a good, well life. It's amazing. So let's invite her on. We got here today. We've got Bianca Elizalde, our July cover girl for Tatler Philippines.
Hi, Steph. How are you?
Hi. Very good. How are you? Happy
I'm
Friday.
okay.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Can you hear me
Okay, so
well?
yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you well.
Okay.
Perfect. You look great as always. Always
Thank you.
glowing skin, big smile. Okay, so Bianca, this is a really exciting issue for us because I don't think Tatler has ever done this before. The cover and all the photos inside was entirely shot by you, and your
Well,
family
not
and
exactly by
Juan.
me. It was by my
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we
Juan
shot
shot
that at home.
everything, right? It's
And that
beautiful
one,
photos.
white top was shot by my 14-year-old daughter. So it was,
Really?
yeah,
So she made
yeah,
the
it
cover
was.
shot.
No, she didn't do the cover. The was is that called the opening spread? Yeah, she
Yeah.
did that one.
Yeah.
She's so proud.
So what was it like? I mean, tell us a little bit about the experience. So we shot this issue right smack in the middle of enhanced community quarantine, right?
Yes,
And it's very unique. You love photography. I know this.
I
Is
do.
this something in your house that is one the same as well? Did you have to coach him? What was the experience like?
Yeah, so that was the challenge, right? When Tatler called me and they asked me, can you be our cover for July?
Yeah.
The thing is, we don't have a photographer, or at least no photographer can come, no stylist, no makeup artist. It was really
Mm-hmm.
daunting because if I had to shoot it, I would be like, oh sure, no problem. But it was, my husband had to shoot me, and Juan
Yeah.
is, he doesn't really take photos. He's more of like the video. He's like the family videographer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in like all the videos, and he's in all the pictures. So, but I asked him, and I was like, "Can you do it?" I mean, literally, you just have to be my human tripod and click the photo, right? But so I
Yeah.
was a little worried about that. But he really got into it, and he started styling me and making sure
It's
everything.
so
He's
cute.
so particular, which was both a blessing and a challenge because working with professional photographers, you're used to like really fast. You're just
Yeah.
moving, moving, moving,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting the shots done. But with him, it had to be everything was like, okay, move a little bit here, So, I had like sweat coming down, and I could see my thought bubble like, just take the shot. And he's just like, wait, move a little bit here. Wait, fix the background, and it was having to deal with that. So it was both, it was a challenge, but it took us 4 or 5 days to shoot all the layouts.
Okay. But I'm sure that means these photos are extra special to you
Yeah,
because, I
absolutely.
mean, they
This is
are,
the first
taken by your
time.
husband.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever done this. And like I said, he doesn't even shoot my Instagram photos. So this was like,
Hmm.
a discovery. I was like, wow, maybe I
Yeah.
should never ever get photographed by anyone else. And he was like, oh, maybe I should be a professional photographer. I'm like, no, only me, only me.
Only
That's
you.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, what a great experience. So, actually, you're not shy to the cover of the magazines, right? Because covers of magazines, you have been gracing the covers of magazines for a very long time. For those of you
Yeah.
out there who are, perhaps there's some from a younger generation who are not aware, but
Since the
all of us,
90s.
I know all of us here have known you as the 90s it girl. You were a model, you were a VJ, you were a host, all of this, right? So
Hmm.
we actually prepared a little clip showcasing all the highlights of that time.
Oh my goodness. Let's see it.
Okay, you're gonna bring it up. There we go. It's quite fun, actually. Oh my God, look at that body. It's incredible. Wow. Back in the
Sad.
day, it's crazy. Back in the day, there was no Photoshop. Everything was on film, right? It was all like, you can't cheat. You can't cheat. You just had to look as amazing as that, right?
Yeah, and it
You
was
looked
Polaroids,
amazing.
which I really loved. But there was, yeah, you're right. There was no cheating. There was
There
no
was no cheating. Your
tweaking
skin had to
anything.
be flawless as it was. Your body had to be perfect. What do you feel when you see these photos?
Honestly, um, I feel that really feels like a different life. Like I almost forgot that me.
Hmm.
It's been a while. After I had my first kid, she's 14 now. She's going to be 15 soon. But when I got pregnant with her, I sort of stopped. I did. I really kind of like put a pause on that life and really
Yeah.
wanted to focus 100% on motherhood. So looking at that, it's like, wow, I mean, it really feels so long ago. Like
Hmm.
I've forgotten what it's like, and when I look at it, it's like, wow, was I really that skinny? That's like the first thing in
So,
my
I
head.
actually oh, we got some of your Tatler covers here as well. So I actually
I was
remember
so
you that
young.
way. As a child, I'm the same age as your brother, Agustin,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we actually, yeah, we would play all the time. But of course, I'd rather be in your room singing Disney songs and play with all your dogs, right? I remember that. But I remember you this
Absolutely. I mean,
way.
Steph, you've seen me through all my life stages since I was
Yeah.
really, really young, right?
Exactly. And so this was like a very glamorous, hip, trendy lifestyle. And then you've changed. When did that shift come? Did it come before you got married? Did it come as you got married and had children? How did this evolution start?
I think it started when I got pregnant with my first daughter.
Okay.
Um, that whole shift in lifestyle, and that's
Yeah.
where I sort of, like I said goodbye to that life. A lot of things happened, actually. I would like to say that that was a time where I really had like a big awakening in my life. When
Yeah.
I was pregnant with my daughter, I really got into organic living,
Hmm.
and I you know I wanted my life and the work I did to sort of be aligned with those philosophies.
Hmm.
So after having her, I sort of started saying no to a lot of, well, I'd say
Campaigns,
potential
perhaps that.
clients and
Yeah.
campaigns that just were not in line with my ideas and with my
Beliefs.
philosophies.
Yeah.
So, that really put a pause on that life. And so I, having young kids, well, my eldest, I had to get into that motherhood phase, and I wanted to dedicate myself completely to that and really
Yeah.
embrace that, and which I did,
Understood.
and um, and find a way of transitioning. Right, I always knew that whatever I was going to do next had to really be in line with what how I felt and the philosophies
Yeah.
that I believe in. So naturally, it transitioned to more motherhood sort of types of work, and then morphed now into the food industry. Will be part of the food
Yeah.
industry with the restaurant. So
Yes. Because
yeah, that's
Juan is a
kind of like how it
restaurateur, right?
transitioned, and I, morphed as a woman.
Yeah, that's really amazing because it's a natural progression, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women also, yes, they question their choices when they get pregnant because now they're nourishing two people, right? And
Yes.
not just themselves. And it is a natural, but you've taken it like a step further and really made this not just your lifestyle, but your career and
Yeah.
vocation because you're very passionate about it. You share with a lot of people. Um, and hence Wholesome Table. So let's talk a little bit about Wholesome Table.
Yeah. So Wholesome Table is 5 years old now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this was really literally a marriage between the two interests, my husband and my interest, because he was in the restaurant industry, and I was just really into healthy organic food and into nutrition.
Yeah.
And when we had the opportunity of opening a restaurant together, and he asked me to help him with the concept, like I said, I knew that there was no way I would start a business or start anything that was not aligned with that philosophy of mine. So,
Yes.
I'm not really a restaurateur. I don't know the business end of this.
Yes.
But I just knew that I would not be passionate about anything that was, I mean, let's say it was fast food, or, something that I personally wouldn't eat or I would not advocate for. So that's how the concept came to be. And I had it shelved for many years. I've always kind of wanted a restaurant like this because every time we travel, these are the kind of restaurants we eat in.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it was always kind of like surprising, why don't we have this in the Philippines? Like, why hasn't anybody opened something like this? And so we did it. And it's been amazing. It's been tough. It's extremely tough right now. But I love it. And I think that if I did not feel this passionately about the concept, I would not have survived in the restaurant industry.
Well, I know you. You never do anything half measure, that's for sure. So I can understand, why there's this attention to detail in Wholesome Table and, right down to every ingredient you can really vouch for. It's also one of my favorite places to eat in. I love your smoothies.
Thank you.
And yeah, and I find that most restaurants, there are only two kinds that survive: those who are all about the bottom line, or those who are really driven by passion. And hence Wholesome Table. So let's talk about this sort of like wholesome wellness, a well-being lifestyle that you've espoused for yourself. So I would say what, in the past 15 years, right? Already coming around.
Oh, for me, it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
I've been living like this for 15 years. It was really tough in the beginning
Yeah,
because
because they didn't have that many options, right?
nothing. There was nothing. I
Hmm.
remember when I was, I would say my late teens, and I wanted to be vegan, but I,
Okay. Because
my
you're the
mom was
animal
just
lover,
like,
I remember.
yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
it was because of that that I
Hmm.
wanted to try veganism, and my mom just didn't know how to feed me except
Yeah.
for a side salad, and so it was not sustainable for me. And but I've been
Hmm.
doing this for many years. This has really been this has been my life for so long. It's second nature already
I
for me
understand.
to
What
to,
about,
to live like this.
so what exactly is your, let's say your diet, right? I know
Hmm.
you're a yoga practitioner as well, right? Like,
Yeah, loosely. Like I love it. I do Bikram. I love the
okay.
sweat. I'm not like, I don't practice it daily. I wish I did, but I
Hmm.
just don't have the time to. But
Okay, but you're, yeah, go
go
on.
ahead.
No, no. Go on.
Yeah, no. So I just don't practice it daily, but I love it. It makes me feel amazing, especially the hot yoga. I like
Yeah,
that detox I get from sweating.
definitely. So let's talk about your diet, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people out there are very curious. What exactly is your diet?
Okay. A lot of people think I'm vegan or vegetarian, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not at all. I tried it for a few, I'd say maybe a whole year, and
Mm-hmm.
it, for me, it didn't work. For a lot of people, I know they thrive on that diet, but I also know that everybody is so unique and on their
Different,
own
yeah.
personal journey. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
really like to push a certain diet on anyone, and which is why Wholesome Table is also, it's for everyone. People who want to eat meat, people who want to go more plant based. Uh, so I've always, for me right now, I don't eat red meat. That's been
Okay.
20 plus years. I don't eat any mammals. I just sort of wanted to, I would say, like, uh, God, um, sort of tread lightly and not really. I'm sure it has to do with my love for animals. However, I do eat seafood. I do eat poultry. I
Okay.
try to loosely follow a paleo diet, though,
Mm-hmm.
because that does work for me. I do see, a big difference in my health, in
Yeah.
my hormone balance, in so many things. It really affects me in a positive way. Um, what I can't eat, what I've discovered I'm severely allergic to is gluten. So for 4 or 5 years now, I've been completely gluten free. And of course,
Which
I
is
avoid all the
becoming
sugar.
easier and easier as well, right?
It's so much easier to digest. And
Yeah.
I also try to avoid the sugar. I really see the bad in sugar. However, it's not like it affects me so badly. I know there's some
Mm-hmm.
people who really shouldn't be on it, but I will, I can have a little bit of that, but in general, I just try not to have sugar. But with gluten, I can't even cheat. I can't cheat
Yeah.
with that. I react so badly. Yeah,
So,
so that's
but
pretty much my
eating,
diet. It's actually pretty easy. It's not, people have this perception that I'm so strict about my food, and I'm not. I just don't eat, I don't eat junk food. I don't eat a lot of
yeah,
processed foods. So it's basically just that.
and gluten free. But gluten free
And gluten
nowadays is
free.
a lot easier than before, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
there was a time where it was almost impossible to eat gluten free.
Yes.
But now
It's
there's
much
just
easier now.
so many options, including desserts. I mean, you guys have an amazing selection of like gluten free desserts there.
Yeah, so we opened the
So
Holton Bakery, and that's 100% gluten free. So that
that's
gives me, because
amazing.
I used to bake. I used to be a baker, and when I had to go gluten free, I had obviously stopped baking for about a year.
Yeah.
But I love pastries. I love cakes. I love cookies. So that was the next thing, right? Again, it's something I believe in. It was something that I personally love. So that's why we put that on our menu, and we started the
Hmm.
Wholesome Bakery, and it's really
So
yummy, and a lot of
it's also
people
like
love it.
a little bit anti-inflammatory diet, right? Like, I mean, your
Absolutely.
basic, yeah. But at the end of the day, a lot of our ailments come from inflammatory diseases, right? So when you take out
Absolutely.
all the processed foods, when we take out all the um,
The chemical
basically
toxins from it,
chemicals,
it
yeah,
starts
mm-hmm,
where it starts from the way your food is grown, and that's why we've got
correct,
Wholesome Table. It's, for me, I've always been screaming this from the top of the mountains, like, go
yeah,
organic, eat healthy, because it not only impacts your health in such a positive way, it also impacts the our resources, the land, the earth.
yeah.
Um, so that's why I've just been such a staunch advocate of clean eating
Also,
because
like
of the
nowadays it's
supply
so
chain.
much, yeah, and it's much more, it's much easier right now to eat clean and organic. You've got a lot of small time farmers that have put up their platforms. I discovered this over ECQ. Everyone went digital, and now you can really order farm to table, direct from farmers, organic, and quite reasonably priced, compared to, I guess, going out to the supermarket or whatever. So it's quite amazing that it's very easy now to espouse this healthier living, I would say, or make better choices. Do your kids eat like you? I mean, do they also not have meat, and or or some of them cheat? Does one of them like
Um,
cheeseburgers? I mean,
yeah, that's funny. They do. They do eat like me here at home because I try not to have
hmm
anything gluten in our kitchen, just so they don't make the mistake of giving it to me. My eldest daughter, I recently put her on gluten free because she was reacting the same way I did as a
okay.
teenager. My discovery for going gluten free had to do with my actually with my period. This might be too much information, but it started from there, and I
No.
discovered that there was a
hmm
problem I've been having for many, many years, and I was diagnosed with adenomyosis, and it was
Okay.
removing gluten from my diet that actually corrected that, and I started noticing the same symptoms with my daughter. So I got her off gluten, and she just does so much better at that. So my kids, you know what? No, they're not as strict as me. Obviously, they're gonna have like some cookies and
Yeah.
some sweets. However, it's really, really regulated. It's not like my time when I was a kid and I would just pound the candies, or I would eat like,
Oh
I
my
don't know,
God.
sugar
We were
bread.
children of the 80s, man. It was like
Yeah,
soft drinks,
yes, exactly.
pizza.
You know, my eldest, she's 14, 15. I think she's only had one sip of soda. She doesn't drink
Yeah.
soda. You know, my
Yeah, my
younger kids,
kids
they don't.
either. Never
That's just
also.
like
Yeah.
not in our, you know, we don't have that at home. We don't have a lot of junk food. They do have some chips, but I'm not strict. So, yes, okay, sorry, I am strict, but I'm a lot looser with them. So when they do go out,
Yeah.
let's say they're at a birthday party, sure they can have cake and cupcakes and cotton candy. They're not deprived of that, but it's they
Yeah.
just know that those are once in a
Treats. They're
while they
so
can have
cute.
this, and it's a special. Well, it's not. I wouldn't call it a treat. I'd be kidding myself if I called them treats, but you know that they're allowed that once in a while, and they understand why. That's what's important. You know, at a
Yeah.
young
Look how
age.
beautiful they are. Wow.
No, thank you. They're sweet. They're just the sweetest. You know, at a young
So
age, I taught
beautiful.
them how to look at food labels to check for
Okay.
the
Yeah.
sugar content. So my eldest especially will look. You know, my second, she's 10. She looks and she knows she can't have anything with sugar substitutes. They're aware. They definitely grow up being aware of this. They know why I
Yeah.
stopped them from eating this. It's not just no, don't ask me any questions, just follow my rules.
Correct.
They understand.
Is that how you are as a mom as well? I mean, having four daughters, that's amazing. And having to
It's
raise them, and the age range from like toddler to teenager must be like some drama in the house. I mean, is this how you parent? You explain, you treat them like little adults? How is it?
yes, yes. I wouldn't say I treat them like little adults, but we do have those conversations. I don't keep them from it.
Mm.
You're right. I do. I have a 3 year old and I have a 14-year old. So I'm tackling so many different issues
Yeah.
from the, tantrums of a child who does not understand what's happening in the world and a teenager. It's not easy, but I definitely talk to them a lot. They're, I
hmm
would say, a lot more aware about the realities of, especially when it comes to health and wellness, than I
Yeah.
was as a child. You know
Yeah.
this. You grew up always
Of
around your
course.
parents, and
Oh yeah, oh
you
my
were
gosh.
very,
They let me eat whatever I wanted, my goodness. Like I mean, my childhood was, sipping soft drinks from like the plastic with the plastic straw and
I mean,
Sustagen
it was
and
fun. But now
type
that
of
we know
like,
better,
like
my
I mean
mom
lots
always
of
says,
sugar.
we didn't know that back then. And look at you. You turned out okay and stuff. And I always say, well,
Yeah.
maybe I would have been better. Maybe I would have been better. Maybe I would have done much better in school had I not, gone in like just with so much sugar in my system so that I'm sleepy by lunch.
Yeah.
But it's true. They didn't know any better back then, but now we do, so we have no excuse. And I
And
tell
it's
her
a
that. I
gift
go,
to
well,
give
mom, now
them.
you do. So now stop bringing in
Yeah.
the candy.
So it's like a legacy for that you can leave them. What are the lessons that you want to teach your girls? I mean, y- even about your modeling days when they see this and they see you now and like women in general, we grow up with different body issues, with different life phases, and we transform ourselves. What are the lessons you'd like to leave your daughters?
There's so many, Steph. There's so many. When it comes to modeling, I would not, it was tough because despite what you saw, I was never that skinny girl.
Yeah.
So back then, I remember the agency, they would have to measure your waistline and you would have
Wow.
to maintain a certain waistline. And I just don't think that's healthy because I really
Yeah.
don't have those proportions. So it really took a lot out of me. And I would not advocate for that anymore. That was a different era,
Hmm.
right? It's not the same anymore. So I
Yeah.
would really, I say this in the magazine, I really like to put an emphasis on values with my girls.
Hmm.
It's never about how they look. It should never be about that. One thing that I love to talk to them about is how their choices in life, from the food they eat to what they buy as consumer. Well, they don't buy it, I buy it. But for my older kids, I try to teach them about how that affects the resource line, just so
Hmm.
they're aware of their actions. And I want to raise them knowing that, because I wasn't aware of that. We existed, I feel like, always on autopilot, right? This is what your
Hmm.
parents use, so this is what you use. You don't realize what that is, how that is impacting your health. So with my kids, I'm super open about that. I'll tell them, don't use this product, you've got to use this, why, and I explain it to them so they grow up aware.
Yeah.
It's not they're not surprised when they get older and they realize what are bad for them and what isn't.
Well, at the end of the day as well, the best way to teach is by example, and
Yes.
you are like a stunning example of, you know, um, modern motherhood, I would say, like really making time and space for your family, but also giving time to your career and your passions, and even supporting your daughter. Your eldest daughter is a very talented stage actress and singer. And
It
I
is.
find it, really incredible. So hats off to you. I mean, you've done an incredible job, just balancing all of those roles and being a loving wife to your now Instagram husband.
No, no, no. He's like, no, I'm just for covers. He's
Only
like,
for
don't get
covers,
any
not for
ideas when we
IG.
travel. Don't think I'm just gonna be like, putting these shoots together for you. But he was the best. He was so good about it. I'm so proud of him.
Well, it's really amazing, and it's nice that you've come like really full circle, and I find that you've had many covers, but many of which you're super glammed up for, right? And this one is very special because it's truly you. You got to
Yeah.
do exactly how you like to do your makeup and really showcase who you are and choose your clothing, and it's wonderful. And look at these beautiful photos. Oh, wow. So your girls. So tell us the ages of your girls.
So my eldest is 14, and then I've got
Mm-hmm.
a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Fantastic. So cute.
They're so
Oh,
sweet.
so cute. So one more
Yeah,
pa or no more?
no. No, my fourth was actually a major surprise. I was really not expecting her. But wow, what a blessing. She's so great. I'm
That's,
so in love.
I'm sure they
I
all
mean, with your
dote on
babies,
her,
you're like,
right?
wow.
Yeah,
But I
they
love
all
I
do.
love being a mom. I love babies. So it wasn't I must admit though, my fourth pregnancy was difficult emotionally for me. I went
Mm-hmm.
through a really hard time with that one, but just being a mom, I love
How
it. I love
come?
babies. Okay, and this is something I've not really shared, but I actually went through depression with her while I was
Oh, wow.
pregnant. I knew at 2 months that there was something wrong because my
Mm-hmm.
my hormones were completely out of whack, and
Yeah.
I was 2 months pregnant, and I was telling my husband there's something wrong, and I had my hormones checked, and they were just all over the place,
Oh,
and they
no.
weren't regulating. So I was, I went through I don't know what you call it. I mean, I was really going through depression while I was
Depression.
pregnant
Yeah.
and major anxiety.
Wow.
Yeah,
It
it
is
was tough.
difficult.
It was
Hormones
really tough.
really play a big part. I mean, I also went through postpartum depression after breastfeeding, and it lasted about a whole year. It takes women have it tough,
Yeah,
physically. That's why I think, what you're doing, advocating for a healthier lifestyle, particularly with what we eat, is very important, especially for us women, who eventually will go
It
to
impacts your
perimenopause,
hormones.
menopause. It does. And if you
Yeah.
can be clean, it'll definitely carry you on for a longer period of time and be healthier, right?
Yeah, that's
On
what I
that,
tell people. You've kind of got to eliminate all those toxins,
yeah,
because then that way all your, like, your hormones, you keep that fixed, right? Once you start eating all those toxic things, your metabolism is affected, your hormones are affected, your mood, your brain, you're in constant inflammation.
yeah.
So that's why I've been screaming this out and telling people this is just the best thing ever you can do for your health.
Okay, so before we move on to some Q&A from the audience, I actually
This is fun.
wanted to, do you have anything, like one last piece of advice that maybe you could give people who are afraid just to take that step in a healthier lifestyle? Or perhaps
There,
like, oh, it's too expensive for me or whatever, but who are afraid just to make those changes.
you know what I tell people who are daunted by it, I say just change first one thing, right? Think about the
Yeah,
one food that you eat often, be it rice or chicken or eggs or something that you always have at the table, and make that organic,
yeah,
right? Then make slow changes. Maybe if you want to go gluten free but you can't go all the way, maybe just remove the bread. Something you can eliminate it. But some people are like, oh, but I can't, I don't know, give up pizza, or I can't give up ensaimada.
yeah,
Then don't give that up, right? Don't make it
yeah.
so hard on yourself. Don't give that up, but give up other things. And when you start making these slow changes and you start seeing the way it impacts your health in such a positive way, you're not going to miss those things. It's truly
Very true.
incredible when you start feeling what normal feels like. You just, I don't miss it. I don't miss the gluten at all. I can look at, and I know how delicious ensaimadas are, or whatever, Krispy Kreme. Ugh. I know how delicious they are, but when I see it, I can almost feel the pain that I was in when I was still
Yeah.
eating, gluten. So, there's certain sacrifices you have to make in life, and the truth is that the older you get, the more these things are going to be evident. So, start slow if you must. For me, it was just cold
Mm-hmm.
turkey, but there's nothing. You're not going to lose anything from going healthier.
Yeah. And there's a physical sensation of well-being. You can really feel it.
Absolutely. First of all, you're going to have a lot of happy hormones. You get that when you
Yeah.
exercise, right? You're just you're happier, you're elated, your mind is
Endorphins.
better, you're
Yeah.
not getting brain fog. When you start taking all of these toxins out, you really do. I'm not just I tell everyone this, and when they do it, they're just like, wow, you weren't kidding. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
you're on
great.
your path to health and wellness, Steph. I
I
think this is
am. I'm
amazing.
actually I'm actually pretty much gluten free. I do love my pizza. I allow myself once a month to have like a couple slices. But I
Yeah.
haven't missed the gluten. There are lots of wonderful replacements. Fortunately, I love rice and I like quinoa, and I mean, just today it's much easier to
Yes.
and I'll allow myself a little cheat here and there. But I do feel the difference. So if I've had like a major cheat. Like one time I ended up eating something that had like a bouillon cube, and I've been eating very clean. I paid for it for a whole week.
Yes.
Just sluggishness, bloat. Like I haven't eaten anything with MSG in a long time, and it was quite terrible. Even the mood swings, you can really feel it. So yeah. Well, let's
Absolutely.
move on to some Q&A from the audience. Before this, I would like to invite everybody to follow Tatler Philippines on Facebook and Instagram. So that's just at Tatler Philippines. We've got lots of great content, and don't forget to buy the July issue. Super great stuff in there. Yeah, so we'll wait for some questions from the audience. I know a lot of people have it. Okay, Tita Irene Francisco, is
Hi.
demand for healthy food increasing?
Definitely. I think so. Since
Mm-hmm.
we opened 5 years ago, it's gotten a lot more mainstream. A lot more
Yeah,
people are asking for healthy food. As you said, Steph, like during the
yeah.
quarantine, all of these purveyors started coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and I think post COVID, it's going to be a lot more important, because people now know, they see the relation of how your health impacts
Yeah,
um, sorry, how your food impacts your health, right? And how
Health.
important it is to be free of disease.
Yes, for sure. I mean, right now people realize that health is truly wealth, and
Absolutely.
you could
And in these
survive
times,
something
it's life or
as
death, right?
yeah, you can survive something as difficult as COVID if you've got a strong, healthy immune system. It's really health as wealth. Okay, Sasna, Sophia, Jacob, did the quarantine lockdown change your eating habits in some way? Good
No.
question.
Yeah, no, it
No.
didn't. There was nothing I felt like I needed to change. I felt like I was
Yeah.
doing everything correctly already, and if at all, it validated
Yeah.
eating organic and eating
Yeah.
healthy. The only thing that
It
actually really changed, like the lockdown, was really making sure I got in a lot of vitamin D. So,
hmm,
like, I'd be out in the sun. So I was, I forced myself to be
yeah.
outdoors in the garden more and really earth and connect to the soil. And I know everybody was like, okay, wash your hands, disinfect everything. With me and my kids, it was like, no, roll in the grass and, connect to the,
To
you
the
know,
earth.
to the
Yeah.
soil or to the dirt and get dirty. And I feel like that really builds your immune system. So that's what
Agree.
I did. But in terms of food, no.
Yeah. Tita Linda Lay, it's avocado season. How much can I eat in a day? It's high cholesterol, right? Good question, actually.
You know what? It's good cholesterol.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you're eating, your body needs cholesterol, especially for women. Your organs need cholesterol to function properly. So I think it's a bit of a misconception that high cholesterol foods are bad for you, as long as you're eating the
Yeah.
right cholesterol. So how many would you eat in a day? As much, I would say, as much as you like. But are you eating 5, 6 a day? Maybe not, right? But
Yeah.
for me, avocado is such a health food, and I do not put a limit to healthy food. I'd rather get full and eat like 5,000 calories worth of like really good calories than really little calories of just bad food.
I also
And I
think,
love avocado.
if I may interject here, I think,
Mm.
there is healthy food, but they can also be rich in calories. So it depends on what your goals are, right? And
Yeah.
ideally, also for your body weight, if you're trying to lose weight, yes, you can eat healthy food. It doesn't necessarily mean it's light or diet food, right? It's very different things. So you also watch your portions and depending on what your goals are. If your goal is to be healthy, then by all means, and but if you're trying to lose weight, I would also suggest to these berry smoothies that are very healthy. They're quite filling, right? So
Yeah,
you had to
it's a
just
good point
check
to
on
make.
those. Yeah.
That's a really good point you make, Steph, because a lot of people ask why we don't put our calories on our menu
Hmm.
at Wholesome, and I honestly feel that it sends the wrong message because people automatically think that if you're eating a lot of calories, that you're number one going to get fat or that it's not healthy. That's not true because if it's coming from the right sources, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many calories you have. And there is also a different kind of eating disorder where you're counting too much, right?
Mm,
It's like you're sort of overdoing it and you're checking every single number. And it's also not a healthy way to live, right? So to me, as long as you're
yeah.
eating the right thing and you're not overdoing it, then, well, you can overdo the right thing, but you're not, just pounding on too much food and you're eating enough, then that's uh, you're better off than counting your
Yeah.
calories but getting it from the wrong sources.
Correct. That's true. This is a nice question. So, Josie Ramoy, Bianca, can you share your basic daily ritual? Having 4 kids must be tough.
Okay, so I usually get up before everybody else. I like to have
Hmm.
my a little bit of time in the morning. Right now, I'm homeschooling my youngest, so I got to get her up, and I have to. She's 3 years old, so I'm present with her for online schooling, which I did earlier. I don't really have a daily ritual. I like to be pretty fluid with my day,
Hmm.
but it always has to do with what are we going to do with the kids or what are the kids going to do today. And
Yeah.
many times a lot of my activities revolve around them, but there are some days. So what I like to do is my work, and this is, I guess, how I do my balance is I'll dedicate maybe 2 or 3 days of the week, 3 max, for work, and I'll put it all in there, so that way the other days I keep pretty free for
Yeah.
being at home and being with my kids.
Well, that's nice. So do you get up, do you meditate? Do you have, a little practice or
I try to, but I feel like I don't have time. I usually do that maybe before going to bed. I like to calm down and um, detach from everyone around me, and just I feel like that's my meditation. I should get into it. I don't feel I feel like I have too much energy and I don't have the patience for it a lot of times.
well, sometimes you can just meditate by doing microflow and being completely concentrated on whatever you're doing at the
Yes.
moment, right?
I
So,
think it for me
yeah.
it's really more about detaching, and how I like to meditate, or my form of meditation is earthing. So I like to be in the garden or in nature, or when I'm abroad, I always do forest
Yeah.
bathing. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I like to
Yes,
be in nature where I'm walking and just really focusing all my senses on what I'm hearing or smelling or feeling at that moment, and just completely detached
yeah,
from the world, right? You're just immersing yourself in nature, and
for
that's my
sure.
form of meditation. You know,
And you
so
need that good
that's definitely,
energy from nature. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Doing that, I find it really boosts your immune system, and it science has shown, there's scientific studies that show it boosts your natural killer cells. So any people do this as a healing modality if they're sick with any, cancer or any kind of disease, right? It helps me with my sleep.
Yeah.
It helps me just calm down. So for
Well,
me, it's really
it's
a
perfect.
connection to nature.
For sure. It's the same. So we've got last two questions here. What do you think of your modeling? What do your
What do your
kids
kids
think
think of
of
your
your
modeling?
modeling? What a cool mom. Okay.
You know what? Honestly, they only recently became aware that I would do that. I don't really have like my modeling
Really?
photos around. Yeah, they were completely oblivious to that fact growing
Hmm.
up. As a matter of fact, I remember the first time I was in the mall with them, and they were old enough to realize what was happening. My eldest, or I think it was my second, but somebody came up to me and was like, "Oh, can I get a photo with you?" And they were like, why do they want a picture with you? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. They just want a photo, and they found it really weird. And then on Instagram, my kids are not on Instagram, but my daughter found out because I think she was looking at my Instagram and she saw the verified, and she was like,
Yeah.
"You're verified? Like, who are you?" And I'm like, I guess it's by the number of followers. Like, they were really unaware. So when people ask, like, can you do a cover for this, or can your kids, my older ones now realize, like, oh, so you used to do this when you were young. I'm like, yeah, but we don't talk about it. They don't see me as that. They see me as just mom.
Yeah. That's nice
I
also. I
certainly
mean,
don't
it's
get all glammed
nice,
up all the time. So
but it's nice to keep a little bit of mystery, right? And surprise our
yeah,
kids.
and
Okay.
it's so funny when they see it, and it's so, they're shocked. They're like, whoa, why are you in the cover? Why do they care to know about you, right? So I'm like, oh, it's for
Yeah,
Wholesome Table. I can really just downplay it. So
that's
my
good.
eldest one knows now for sure, but she, growing up, didn't know.
Okay, we have time for one last question, and it's a very nice question. It's a great way to end this. What inner values do you promote to let you glow gorgeously?
Wow, what a question to end with. What inner values?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Happiness, I think, is something. Be positive. Always try to look for the positive, because I feel nothing will hurt you more than stress and just, I don't know, jealousy and hate and all of these negative feelings.
Yeah,
Nothing can take away from you more than that, right? It's so for me, it's eating right, being happy, being positive. All those things really for me make an impact, and really trying to de-stress a lot, really make an impact on my what I look like on the outside, I suppose.
that's great. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you can be, the most aesthetically beautiful person, but what really matters is what's inside you.
Absolutely.
So, and you can really see it. Just like you, beautiful inside and out. It's been such
Thank
a
you.
lovely interview. Thank you so much, Bianca. So much
Thank
words
you,
of
Steph.
wisdom. Yes, so
I
many
was so
great, like
nervous,
so
but
much
knowing
good
you were
insight.
there, I was like, okay,
No,
great.
no, you
Thank
did
you.
well. I was like, we can't just do 30 minutes. She's got too many nice things to say.
I can't talk
It's,
for that short. It's just not possible. It's never happened.
well, that's because you've got so many great things to say and a lot of wisdom for everyone out there. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Maybe we could end with you inviting people to check out the cover, put it up, and our
Yes,
July issue.
yes, the cover is
There you
coming out
go.
mid-July. The print issue, look at it. Um, it's coming out mid-July, but right now you can get it for free on Magster, and it's a great magazine. I love this issue. Thank you, and it's so special to me. So do get it. I'm not sure if it's out now, but mid-July, so it should be out then.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bianca, and thank you to everyone who was here with us today. I saw a lot of familiar faces. It's always lovely. It is one of my favorite days of the week. It is Friday. So, wishing
Yeah.
everyone a happy weekend full of
Happy
love
weekend,
and
everyone.
light.